With Pokemon Champions just hopefully a few weeks away, I today wanted to talk about what features I want to see come to Pokemon Champions. Some of these features will be for everyone, while most of them will be focused on the competitive format that Pokemon Champions is going to be the new home for. And it's really interesting because we kind of don't know what they're going to do other than have Pokemon battles. What additional features are we going to see? How fleshed out is going to be the team building and the data side of it? So today we're going to talk about the features that I want to see in Pokemon Champions Day 1. And I think it starts with this device. Maybe it's time for a 2.0 of this one. This is the Pokeball Plus, not to be confused with the Pokemon Go Plus or the Pokemon Go Plus Plus. Great naming convention, by the way, not confusing at all, but this is the Pokeball Plus. This was an accessory sold with the release of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. It allowed motion controls in this game to go past regular controller, and with the Pokemon Go connections feel a little bit more immersive. This is a simple device with a single thumbstick that you click down to count as a button. There's also a soft clicking button on top, and you can shake to get options. I feel like this could work for Champions because we don't have to worry about controlling cameras like we did in Scarlet and Violet. One thumbstick would honestly be enough. Not to mention, with Champions being both for the Switch and mobile platforms, a controller that can work with both of these devices while also keeping the Pokemon Go functionality would give people a reason to take this around with them with their phones, because it's not just for Champions but also Pokemon Go. Not to mention, you could use the NFC function that we see in Amiibos to share rental codes. I do think that would be a stretch, but I would really hope that rental codes could be shared jumping between platforms. But with this feature, this would be kind of cool for tournaments. If you think about the stream setup being a Switch, you could just, tap your Pokeball down onto the NFC part of the controller, and boom, your team's on there and your controller is ready. Not to mention, this could also give them a reason to give us a Johto style Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee game, especially counting on the fact that Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee did actually sell better than BDSP. The next feature I want to see is single player features. Yes, Champions will be the competitive platform for VGC going forward once it's released, but you have to have something that draws casual players in, or players that start Pokemon with Gen 10 are in the future. I discussed some of this in my previous video talking about Pokemon Champions, but give us some gym leader type battles. Nostalgia bait those people in. Come on, you know that they would go for it. And not to mention, these single player features would be a way for newer players to learn older mechanics that we'll eventually see in Champions, like Z Crystals and Dynamax. Not only that, but you can directly advertise VGC with limited time events that allow you to battle the latest regional team or teams from previous world champions. I think something like that could be a really cool way to get new players invested into ranked battles and maybe even build experiences to join their first local, their first regional. The next feature I would love to see is replays. I know this doesn't benefit me too much because I have a capture card, but giving players the ability to save replays would allow Champions to be a real tool to help competitors grow by giving them a way to review certain matchups and review their gameplay and their game states. This is something that a lot of players do to analyze their play, to find mistakes or patterns and plan against well-known teams. There's a reason why a majority of VGC players have a Google spreadsheet somewhere with hundreds of Showdown replay links in it. Not to mention, making these shareable, you could use it to create some kind of social experience within Champions and make them more shareable on social media to help promote Champions and VGC within itself. This next one is kind of in the same realm as replays, but Pokemon data. This was a feature that was part of Pokemon Global Link, and now it's in Home for battle results. This is where you can look at a Pokemon's rating within the ranked ladder experience and also their usage. You can see common things like natures, abilities, moves, and held items. Right now, VGC players use things like Pikalytics or Lab Mouse to see this with showdown data, but I would love to see them build this into Champions. Once again, it would give new players resources within Pokemon Champions to grow and learn VGC. I know Pokemon Home is there, but that's not how mobile games work. If Pokemon Champions is really going to be a mobile game and they treat it like that, you don't want people switching off of your game. You want them playing, and so having that resource there keeps those players invested in being on Champions. The next thing I would love to see is open team sheets. If this is going to be the hub for VGC, then we need to align with the in-person tournaments as much as possible. With Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the online tournaments in Sword and Shield, we saw open team sheets as a way to prevent people from cheating with Sword and Shield and to have players know the Terra type of certain Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. This has been a great way to help prevent players from getting caught off guard and allow them to play more precisely. In previous years, we saw gathering information like team moves and speed tiers as an element of the game, but if you spoke to anyone who was playing often in in-person tournaments at the time, they would say that this gave certain people an unfair advantage because people with large friends groups or large social circles could share information and gain an advantage. I think team sheets are a net good for the competitive scene, allowing everyone to start at the same spot when facing an opponent. And this would help ranked battles overall because it would prevent some cheese strategies from being too easily played, or at least lets the opponent know what to expect and allows them to make better choices throughout the team preview and battles. If you want people to focus on Champions instead of Showdown for their testing, it needs to have open team sheets. The last thing I want to see in Pokemon Champions is a spectator mode. Give regionals and local tournaments, as well as big online tournaments, a way to show off battles in a way that makes it more engaging for the viewer. This has been missing from Pokemon for a while. It has been seen in Scarlet and Violet, but only for big official tournaments, usually Japan Nationals and World Tournaments. This feature should be baked into Pokemon Champions, especially with mobile phones coming into the mix for Pokemon Champions. How do you stream a match between two mobile users when the stream setup is two switches? This can be avoided if you have a spectator switch that both competitors connect to stream the match. These are all the features I honestly want to see day one. I know something like the Pokeball would take time, and so if this was actually a real thing, we would know by now, in all honesty. But what features do you want to see? I'm sure there's stuff that I missed or stuff that I didn't think about. Let me know in the comments down below. Honestly, I can't wait for Pokemon Champions. If you want to keep up with myself and Pokemon Champions, don't forget to like and subscribe. But until next time, I'm Zach, and we'll see everyone later.